is something rather delicious about the denouement of the Carling Cup this year. Dear little Wigan sitting comfortably in the final, whilst their big-time neighbours set about slogging it out to join them there. I think Rooney's already taken a bash in the face. Eyes watering, attention from the referee. Close attention. Forwarded in by the Blackburn skipper Ryan Nelson, New Zealander who's done really well since coming to this country from America, and who's done significant damage in the first few seconds of the second leg to the star turn in the Manchester United side. And he has also yielded a free kick, over which is Ryan Giggs with devilish in-swing, aiming at Ferdinand, who likes getting forward these days. Here's Rooney, aimed back in towards Van Nistelrooy, up in the air by Mickey Gray, away by Tugai. It's a forceful start by Manchester United. Neville. United's throw, won for them by their skipper, one of the men in the news over the last 48 hours or so. Mark Hughes, a League Cup winner with Manchester United in '92, with Chelsea in '98, with Blackburn as a player in 2002. Concerned now by the raid of Rooney. Stolen in towards Van Nistelrooy! Manchester United ahead. Mickey Gray hangs his head. Ruud Van Nistelrooy pounces. Rooney penetrated. Gray misjudged. Van Nistelrooy didn't. "19 goals for the season now for Ruud Van Nistelrooy, given a helping hand, requiring no second invitation, and taking Manchester United closer to Cardiff. Worth reiterating the effect that the goal has on the tie as a whole. Blackburn Rovers, of course, still only need one goal to force it into extra time. In search of that goal is Bentley. Cucci couldn't take it from him. Away goals don't count double in the League Cup semi-finals until after extra time. So 2-2 in this game would require extra time and would take Blackburn through at the end of it. Only 1-1 offers us the prospect of penalties. Giggs. Neville exchanging with Fletcher. Giggs. Evra. Neil presented it to Fletcher, who couldn't take it, and in lunging to win it back from Pedersen, committed a foul. Manchester United are having to make a change here, and it is a genuinely concerning one for them. As if the midfield problems weren't considerable enough, it's clear that Ryan Giggs has an early problem and is having to be withdrawn and replaced by Alan Smith, whose fitness was also a matter of some question in the lead-up to the game. One or two eyebrows were raised when he got off the United bus, and was clearly going to play some sort of a part in the tie. Neil. Bentley. Reed. Savage. Reed has been caught late by Evra. Playing in his first domestic English Cup tie. And quickly picking up the mood. Ryan Giggs, who's played in many, is a genuine source of worry for Manchester United folk. Word from the bench is that it's a hamstring problem, and he's had a few of those down the years. Forward by Neil. Nice take from Bentley. Looking to nick it in for Reed, who'd made a run. Ferdinand is looking so superior at the moment, though. Puffs out his chest and reads it. One back by Kizhanishvili. On for Bentley. Back for Kizhanishvili. Aimed in at Cucci, who's closely patrolled by Wes Brown. An adventurous dash out of defence by the Georgian centre-half, Kishinishvili. Brown was very, very close to Shefki Kuchi, who couldn't get a clean strike away. Header out. Gray exchanging with Pedersen. Aimed in towards Kuchi, Rees round the back, and Everest saw it. And saw it out really adeptly. It's a nasty ball for the French fullback to deal with, and he dealt with it with considerable expertise, with Reed right at his shoulder. Last cup tie he played in was for Monaco against Lille in the last 16 of the French League Cup in December. Just over 9,000 in that weird little stadium in Monte Carlo. Here's Pedersen in this grand old stadium on the edge of Manchester. Two-guy out-muscled and outwitted by Rooney, who's hit it early for Van Nistelrooy. Running from his own half here, Ruud Van Nistelrooy, so must be onside. Held up by Savage. And a fortunate deflection from Pedersen. One back by Richardson, one back by Savage, who's clashed with Smith in a revisitation of the first leg. They have previous, very recent previous, and Smith is in the book. He fell out at Blackburn, they've fallen out in Manchester. It's about as predictable as Sunday following Saturday. Two-guy for Craig. Richardson ahead of Kuchi, could still fall for Reed! Equaliser! Stephen Reed restores Paris in a semi-final. With assistance on this occasion from Kieran Richardson. After Gray had shifted it in from the left-hand side, Richardson necessarily intervened, but towed it inadvertently square across the edge of the penalty area via Wes Brown, and gave Stephen Reed plenty to aim at. And Reed zipped it beneath the frame of a perhaps disappointed Edwin van der Sar. And the tie is all square again. Stephen Reed, whose only goal previous to this season was an absolute bluter at Wigan on New Year's Eve. Rooney's won his header. Van Nistelrooy is onside. Penalty against Zurab Kishinishvili. Hand to ball, rather, in the opinion of Graham Poll, than ball to hand. That's the judgment he had to make. Van Nistelrooy's appeal was instant, and so was Graham Poll's award, and Van Nistelrooy has quickly claimed the ball for himself. The yellow card is for Lucas Neal for extravagant protests, and the warning was clear: you speak again and you're off. Last night's League Cup semi-final had a penalty saved. Ruud Van Nistelrooy to re-establish Manchester United's advantage here. 3 minutes before half-time at Old Trafford. That one's saved as well! And it's a very, very good save, because Van Nistelrooy gave that the full force of his right boot. Rooney's corner. Friedel got a hand on it. Two-guy. Well seen by Neville. Richardson. Well, that was every bit as good a save as Mike Pollitt's last night for Wigan at Arsenal. He did have to go full length, and there was plenty on the shot. Ferdinand, Neville, Fletcher. Richardson, Van Nistelrooy, he's away from this man here. Van Nistelrooy straight at the goalkeeper. Didn't draw as smart a save as he had moments previously from the spot. That's a proper cup tie now. Van Nistelrooy's got caught up with Reed. Protests his innocence to Graham Poll. He was pretty late, but he didn't do great damage. Long by Kizhanishvili, out by Ferdinand, taken by Bentley. Smartly played in for Shefki Kuchi, who was spinning as Smith stole it off his toe. Pedersen. Gray has advanced from full-back. And Ferdinand again is in the ideal position. He's looking smooth right now, top of his game, Rio Ferdinand. Evra. Straight back by Neil. Header from Reed. Rooney insisted on having it from Richardson. Let me do it. And he's the man who can. And he stabbed it on for Neville. And Neville drove it against Gray. And it came to Rooney. And Tugai dispossessed him. And Ferdinand took it back from Kuchi. Neville. Fletcher. On the dash away from Gray. Fletcher's ball in beyond Saha, and headed behind by Lucas Neal for an unnecessary corner, despite the efforts of Friedel. Last 10 seconds of added time. Rooney crashed into Tugai. Richardson wide. Van Nistelrooy. That's a clean enough tackle from Savage. That's not from Van Nistelrooy. They've both ended up on the floor. Rovers have the free kick. Van Nistelrooy, I don't think, is going into the book. Certainly let him know he was there. Robbie Savage doesn't concern himself overly with popularity, which is just as well. Listen, there are 60-odd thousand of them, and there's one of you, Robbie. When's he ever minded about that? Well, that is a proper cup tie, and you try guessing who's going to win it in the end. Manchester United had an advantage through Van Nistelrooy. They might have had another one, but he had his penalty brilliantly saved. Between times, Stephen Reed got an equaliser for Blackburn, whose manager, Mark Hughes, is an animated figure as they trudge off the half. Oh, I'm afraid there's a lot going off at half-time. There are players sprinting down the tunnel, and there is very obviously something going on behind the scenes that ought not to be going on. It is a worked-up cup tie. 2 goals and a saved penalty are, I fear, only a small part of the story here. Sir Alex Ferguson is concerned. It's a story that will have to be told afterwards. The half-time score at Old Trafford is 1-1 on the night and 2-2 on aggregate. Well, Old Trafford certainly needed that quarter of an hour to calm itself down. The official word from the referee's room at half-time: he saw nothing untoward as the players went off for the break. Which isn't to say that there was nothing untoward. He certainly needed to calm down, Mark Hughes. His blood pressure was high. And of course Old Trafford now has 3/4 of an hour or more to work itself back up into a frenzy. is hoping that it's 11 aside at the end of it, whenever the end comes. Here's Rooney for Manchester United, trying to stab in Fletcher. Seen by Nelson, cleared up towards Cucci. Away by Ferdinand, down by Reed. Up in the air by Savage, who will be booed, his every touch. Fletcher. Van Nistelrooy. Shifted wide for Fletcher. Turned back for Ruud van Nistelrooy, struck against Savage. Leave it out by Gray. Smith jumped under it. And was caught by Tugay and wanted to get on with the free kick more quickly than the Turkish international would allow him. And the chorus of Rooney goes up inside Old Trafford, because this is certainly makeable range for such a special player. Richardson, the less likely option. If it's made for anyone, it is made for Wayne Rooney, whose effort actually turned out to be rather tame. All this for a Blackburn side who are unbeaten in their last 5 matches against Manchester United. Indeed, the last time they lost to United was the day that England won the Rugby World Cup, 22nd of November 2003. Rovers won on this ground in September. Which rather blots out most of recent history. That was their first win here since 1962. Evra. Rooney. Van Nistelrooy's after it. Neil should be there first. Gary Neville. Saha. Teased in towards Van Nistelrooy! Oh, what a save that is! What a game he's having, Brad Friedel, at the expense of Ruud van Nistelrooy. Glorious cross from Saha. Nothing wrong with Van Nistelrooy's downward header, which bounced up and was net-bound until Friedel elastically got across. Good from Bentley. Aimed in towards Cucci, seen out by Ferdinand. Bentley again. Better to find Cucci, only found the midriff of Edwin van der Sar. Gary Neville. Richardson. Tugay turning, dispossessed by Fletcher hungrily. Saha ahead of him. Rooney here square. Wayne Rooney. Louis Saha! Oh, yes! That is a sumptuous goal! He was going to take some beating, Brad Friedel. It had to be that good. A question about Fletcher's challenge, it seemed clear enough. Rooney drove on, and then just teased it in for Saha, whose left-footed volley was in a class all of its own. With slice and swerve. Here was Fletcher's challenge on Tugay. It was certainly rugged. It was certainly rugged. Everything after it, though, was glorious. Rooney's cross and Saha's lash across the ball, imparting the slice and the swerve to find the inside of the side netting. Savage. Bentley. Nelson. In by Gray. Taken by Bentley, held up by Kucci. Was that handball by Ferdinand? It's come wide for Reed. The angle was prohibitive. There is a question being asked by Shefki Kucci of Graham Poll. Well, it rode up against his body, might just have caught the inside of his arm, quite high up. I think Graham Poll's got that right. It's a question worth asking. Sir Alex Ferguson, who in his programme notes tonight admits that it is his perceived remit to deliver one trophy every season. He didn't last year. He fancies this one this year. Level away from Pedersen. And Nistelrooy climbing with Nelson. The New Zealander wins the jump. Kucci climbing with Neville. The Englishman wins the jump. Saha, Rooney, dab through for Van Nistelrooy, onside, potentially to finish it. It's a wonderful save from Friedel, who has denied Ruud van Nistelrooy a hat-trick all by himself. That is as good a one-on-one save as you can imagine. Brad Friedel from Ruud van Nistelrooy has stopped a penalty at full stretch, has stopped an unstoppable downward header, and Van Nistelrooy, having been clearly onside here, has one-on-one thrown up an arm and stopped what was close to being an open goal. Brian McClare, amongst those on the bench for Manchester United, scored a goal in the 1992 final, the only time that United have won this competition. Spread by Ferdinand. Oh, it's a brilliant take from Rooney. Has to settle for not even a corner. But even those moments of ultimate frustration are preceded by moments of glorious skill. It's a fabulous take. Ferdinand away. Fletcher. Van Nistelrooy, Saha, Rooney. Manchester United playing in their 10th League Cup semi-final and 12 or 13 minutes away from their 6th League Cup final. They've only won this competition once. Fletcher, Van Nistelrooy. Good run from Ruud van Nistelrooy. Touch back for Rooney. Rooney's hit! Friedel's inevitable save. Came back to Van Nistelrooy, who's offside. It has to be point blank, or very special to beat Brad Friedel tonight. Lots of oomph in Rooney's strike, but Friedel was across. Emerson. Held up by Fletcher. Bentley rolling off Fletcher. And again. Exchange with Pedersen. Richardson had it watched. Pedersen took it back. Savage turned it off for Lucas Neal. Richardson stood his ground. Smith played it out for Rooney, and Manchester United are flowing forward here, 3-on-3. Rooney running at Kizhanishvili. Literally, Kizhanishvili getting his body between man and ball, importantly, and bravely, and strongly. Manchester United 6 minutes away from their 6th League Cup final. With an advantage and with the ball, Sylvestre. Taken away from them by Neal. Reed. Pedersen. Reed. Richardson tackling back with good energy. He's given a lot to this game, Kieran Richardson. And here is a Manchester United debut. In place of Ruud van Nistelrooy, Nemanja Vidic The Serbian getting his first taste of Manchester United first-team football. Rudi's got his goal. He might have had 2 or 3 more. But in place of the centre-forward, on comes the new boy defender. Rovers fans might be considering giving it up. They're waiting to see the number on Chris Foy's board here, the 4th official. There are going to be 4 extra minutes. Nelson for Gray. Gray for Reed. Smith throwing himself in. Now Rooney, if he gets on his bike, could really hurt Rovers and finish off the tie. Savage tackling back, but it's come to Silvestre. Now, do they try and score a goal, or do they go for the flag? Saha wants a goal, but he has very little support, and he only still has the ball because he's fallen on it and handled it. Well, they will have learned from Wigan last night that all things are possible right until the very end. Neil. Everton trying to get beyond Silvestre, whose tackle was an emergency one and an immaculately timed one at the expense of a corner. Brad Friedel is coming forward. He does have a first-team goal. He needs another one now. Everton plays it in. And then Savage. And there was little that Manchester United supporters would have enjoyed more than Robbie Savage scuffing a last-gasp crack at goal. It looks like being a moment for the album. Emerson. Richardson doing enough. Forward by Kishinishvili. Out by Vidic. Brown facing the wrong way. Away as far as Bentley. Out again by Brown. Gray. Peter. Fletcher has been dogged. Richardson just needs to hit it long. Friedel has come. He has to get it forward. There are seconds remaining. And he's only found touch, and that may be that. He's had a fabulous game, Brad Friedel, but Alex Ferguson is sure it's done, even by his watch. Graham Poll's is the watch that matters. Saha. It is United. It was a rumbustious semi-final for Sir Alex Ferguson in his 20th year at Old Trafford. A 14th major final of that extraordinary stewardship. His near-perfect record in domestic semi-finals enhanced still further, despite the brilliance in the Blackburn goal of Brad Friedel. United progress for the 6th time to the League Cup final, courtesy of a quite brilliant strike from Louis Saha. Courtesy also of a goal early in the game from Ruud van Nistelrooy, who later missed a penalty, and despite an equaliser towards the end of the first half from Stephen Reid. See what the League Cup means to him now. It's going to be the new kids on the big block against the big boys themselves. The 2006 Carling Cup final will be between Wigan Athletic and Manchester United.